Okay, we are live and direct. So again, I want to welcome everyone. My name is Devin. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arizona. And I'm so excited that y'all have joined us here this evening, this Tuesday evening, to help us kick off Black History Month with a discussion on the power of mentoring, the power of mentoring. And so we have some amazing guests tonight. We're going to have an amazing discussion. But before we jump into that, I do want to take this time to introduce our leader, our CEO, Ms. Laura Capello, to give a welcome and some brief remarks. Laura, the floor is yours.
Hi, thanks, Devin. I had to make sure I don't call Devin and Devon. I mean, that's like, I'm gonna get tongue twisted. I've been known to do that, but I'm really excited for tonight. I've been looking forward to it. And I'm so excited. We've had a partnership with the NFL for a couple of years nationally. So nationally, we're working with them. We had some of our kids and our matches pose to be cardboard cutouts at the Super Bowl. So really excited about that. And it's all about social justice and racial inequities. And that is what the NFL is supporting our organization for. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm also excited because I'm a huge football fan and a huge Cardinals fan. And I'm so happy to see Derek Kennard and his son, because I've known Derek. I met him, I guess I should say. I haven't seen him for a really long time, but I met him back in the late 90s when he was playing for the Cardinals. And we got to work together because he did a football camp for our kids. And he's just always been he's a great man, and he's such a great asset to our community. And now he has his amazing son who I got to meet when he was a kid. And now he's following in his footsteps and playing for the Cardinals. So really happy to have both of them here and to kind of get them re-engaged in all the important work we do. So thank you for joining us, and thank you, Devin and or Devon and Derek and Devin for putting this together.
Don't say Devin,
I knew it. I did it.
Go crazy.
That's gonna. I don't know. Can we just say D1 and D2? Yeah. So thanks, you guys. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laura. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it. So before we jump into our special guests and introductions, I do have a video that I want to just share with everyone that sort of highlights the initiative, the NFL Inspires Change initiative, which, as Laura said, is to address inequities, social injustices through education and mentoring of our youth, as they are our future. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is share my screen and play that video now. 1 second. All right. And okay, here we go.
The fight for racial equality is complex. Consider access to education and mentorship. The act of each one teaching one is critical. With 135,000 kids and Big Brothers Big Sisters, these NFL brothers decided to teach more than one.
If we could see it,
we can be it.
It takes all of us to end racism and hate. Keep moving the sticks.
All right. So is everyone able to see that video? All right. Great. Awesome.
He stole my logo, man.
Hey, he stole your logo?
Reach one, teach one, man. He stole my stuff, man. I gotta put a pat on that.
So, and we're definitely going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about the origins of each one, teach one. But listen, for those who are just joining us, and we have more folks joining us now, we're joined by some special guests today. Really, some local hometown heroes who've been putting in a lot of work in our community for some time now. With that being said, I first want to introduce Devon Kennard, who is a linebacker for our hometown Arizona Cardinals. Devon, could you give everyone a wave?
What's up, guys?
Right on. So Devon, as I mentioned, is our linebacker. Listen, and we had a solid season, and we're going to Super Bowl next year, right?
Hey, we got to, man. I hate sitting out right now. I'm gonna be bitter watching the game this week.
Listen, all of us Cardinal fans, we're all gonna be bitter. We don't want nobody to win. Okay, but we certainly thank you, Devon, and we look forward to you sharing more about who you are, what you've done, and your thoughts on mentoring and the importance of it on our youth. All right. Next, I want to introduce his father, Derek Kennard, who is also a former player, former NFL alumni who's played on several teams, including the Cardinals, and won a championship in '96 with the Cowboys right here in Sun Devil Stadium. Right here in Sun Devil Stadium. Look, he has a ring right there to prove it. He has the receipts right there. And I know that's motivation for Devon to go ahead and collect one too for the Cardinals. But I remember watching that game as a kid here, '96. I remember that Sun Devil Stadium. I remember the parades. I remember all of that. So Derek certainly has a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And so we look forward to hearing what you have to share as well in regards to mentoring and the impact on youth, and also your journey through the league and as a player and just as an adult navigating the system. With that being said, gentlemen, Devon, let's just start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your roots here in the community?
So Devon Kennard, I was born here, born in the Ahwatukee area. For those local people who may know, born and raised, went to Desert Vista High School, and I'm passionate about it. Being able to come back home to play is a dream come true. I never thought it would happen, but to be in my own backyard playing and being home has been a dream come true. And now, hopefully things start getting better with COVID, because I have a big passion. I've done a lot of community work everywhere I've played, and I really want to dive into this community here because it means something to me. All the work I've done at other places. I was last year I was voted a Walter Payton Man of the Year finalist, and got to experience that. And I've been able to do great work everywhere I've been, and now I'm home. And this is a place I plan on being, for the foreseeable future. And I want to be able to make an impact in the community. So being here with you guys today, it means a lot to me. And, I hope to stay involved.
Awesome. Devon, now, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Listen, it's amazing to see young players that are in the league doing good. And we know there's a lot of folks that are in the league that are doing good, but I appreciate how no matter what city you're in, you found a way to get involved. And that's what it's all about. And so we were glad to have you back here, and we're looking forward to getting you more involved. Derek, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and your roots here at the Valley?
Wow, man, that's a lot of history, man.
Well, we'll keep it short.
Well, let's try to keep it short. It was a long pathway for me. I went to University of Nevada and grew up in Stockton, California, and found some mentors through a football camp, and through those mentors, they told me and showed me a way, a roadmap to get where I wanted to go, and I found my way at University of Nevada, and was drafted in the second round to the USFL, LA Express, and also the St. Louis Cardinals in the second round. So I went to the LA Express and then the St. Louis Cardinals. And when the Cardinals moved here, I was a part of that move with the transition with the team. So I continued to play here, and in '91 I was traded to Nolans, and pay attention now, Nolans. I played 3 years in Nolans, and was a free agent in '94, and I became a Dallas Cowboy. From there, we went on to win a Super Bowl in the '95 season, and that's when we played here at the Sun Devil Stadium against Pittsburgh Steelers. Had a fantastic career. Capped it off with one of these, and this is what it's all about. Everybody want one of them, including Devon, but they're hard to get. Just to tell you how hard it is the Cowboys haven't been back since.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow.
It's been a long time. Anyway, along the way, I've had some mentors to guide me through this landfill of life, and to show me the way, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful journey to see my son, all my kids do really well and be successful in life.
Hey, well, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful, and certainly, as short as your remarks were, we know your journey was long and hard, and there was a lot of sacrifices along the way. with that, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And folks, if y'all have any questions, please throw them in a chat. We're going to be monitoring the chat, and at the end, we'll definitely get to your questions at the end. But let's go ahead and jump into the old African proverb, which we keep bouncing around, is each one teach one. It's an African proverb, each one teach one. And for a lot of people don't know, the phrase actually originated in the US during slavery, when Africans were denied education, including learning to read. So many, if not most, enslaved people were kept in a state of ignorance about anything beyond their immediate circumstance, which was under control of their owners, lawmakers, and authorities. So when an enslaved person learned or was taught to read, it became their duty to teach someone else, spawning the phrase, each one teach one. That's where we're at. So let's jump right into it. Who was that person in your life? Who was that one person in your life that showed you the roadmap, that created the pathway? Now, this is obviously very special. We have a father and son duel here, but was there someone outside of this relationship that helped you get to where you are today? Devon, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious is my father, of course, just always paying attention to how he lived his life and how he moved and the success he had, and just being able to realize anything is possible when you have a father who was as successful as my dad was. But outside of that, I would actually say my big brother. He invested a lot of time into me. So it's kind of funny. It's, big brother, big sister, and my actual big brother. He coached me in high school. He pushed me really hard, gave me a lot of tough love, and let him tell you I was a little soft growing up, and he had to toughen me up and rough me up a little bit, and it paid off in the end. But just what the time, really, more than anything, that he devoted to me, showing me the ropes and teaching me mistakes that he made. So it wasn't always like, oh, this is how to do it. Sometimes it was, this is what I did and I messed up here. You should do a better way. You should find a different way. And that kind of sparked something in me to where people got to realize it's not only from people's example, you can also learn from their mistakes. And I think that's a great way to learn. All right, what life do you want for yourself? What direction do you want to take your life in? And you see people around you, and sometimes it's good examples, and it's like, all right, I want to go down that road. And sometimes it's bad examples, like I don't want that in my life, so I'm going to make sure I don't do those things, and I'm going to steer away, and I'm going to try this. So being able to learn that way is something that I really kind of took from my dad and my brother, and I'm a firm believer in the each one teach one, because now I want to pass it on to my kids one day, and in the community. I have a passion for the youth and for kids, and I want them to realize they can be successful in so many ways. It's not just on a football field or being an entertainer of some sorts, and that's what I'm really passionate about outside of the game, is allowing people to see. You might see some of the books I have back here. I'm big into reading and things like that, and being able to show that to where it's like, all right, I'm an athlete, but football is what I do. It's not just who I am. So, that's really important to me.
Wow. Amazing. Hey, listen, I hope everyone has their speakers on loud. Devon is sitting here dropping some jewels. So 2 things. One, he just stumped on the whole myth that you have to be a perfect person to be a mentor. Okay. He just completely stumped that out. You don't have to be a perfect person. Sometimes you could capitalize on those mistakes to teach others. And that's what it's all about. And so that's a common myth that we always see at Big Brothers Big Sisters is, nah, I can't mentor. I'm not perfect. I don't have it all together yet. Well, that's all right. You don't have to have it all together. In fact, it's your life experiences that you can share with the youth that can help them reach their full potential. If you can be a friend, you could be a mentor. And then the second thing he mentioned was, look, football is not where it ends for him. Devon is more than football. I know you're into real estate, right? You got your community works going on. So it's not just football. It doesn't just end with football. So he's absolutely right when we say our kids don't have to just get into athletics or entertainment. There's a whole other world out there that you can dive into. And Devon, I want you to touch on a little bit of your dealings with your real estate and the work you're doing there to help educate people in a second here. But we're going to go ahead and bounce over to Derek. Derek, who's that one person in your life that taught you the way? Because obviously you were the anchor that obviously taught your sons a lot of lessons. So who was that person for you?
Well, growing up in my neck of the woods of Stockton, California, I had a guy that's is familiar here with ASU and Tempe, Arizona here. His name was J.D. Hill. He came back to my little hometown and gave football camps, and I hadn't seen or heard of any successful people in my neighborhood and that looked like me. So I approached him and the other pros and asked them, how can I become a player, a professional football player like you? And they said, well, first of all, you got to have great grades and you have to do well in school. And in order to do that, you will earn a scholarship because you have the talent to do it. I said, wow, you think so? I was just a little 9-year-old kid, snotty-nosed kid, and looking for something. And these guys wrote me out a roadmap because I asked them, what do I have to do? And they told me about getting my grades together and doing what your coaches ask you, and then also doing some things at home with your mom so she'll allow you to play football, because if she don't allow you to play, you're not going to play. And so you take care of home, make sure you are in good standing with your chores at home and all the things. Hey, if I did my chores at home, emptied the garbage, made my bed, and mowed the lawn on Saturdays, I'm usually good with mom. So we were good there. And I straightened out my grades, and the rest worked out well on the field. So J.D. Hill was a big part of that. He had kids coming wearing his T-shirts every summer, and I became a Buffalo Bill fan because he was playing with them, and then he became a Detroit Lion, and now he lives here in the Valley as an alumni at ASU and a legend at ASU. Of course, he had some failures, but so some people do, and most people do. But he learns from those, and now he's a minister and does a whole lot of work in the community. He does things in the community as well. Hey, people learn from their mistakes, but when you make mistakes, there's lessons to be learned from your mistakes, and that's dropping some more bombs on you there.
No, I appreciate that. You're absolutely right, Derek. And you know what? Someone in the comment chat here, our good friend Vashi, just said, wow, J.D. Hill is still to this day making an impact in Mesa, Arizona right now. So he's obviously still active and still involved.
Yeah.
So you know, people who have a good heart, people who are about community, they don't ever go away despite the challenges. You might take an L, but an L doesn't stand for loss. We know it stands for lessons, right? L stands for lessons. And you learn from those lessons and move forward and continue to have an impact on that. So Devon, as a young player coming in the league, a young entrepreneur such as yourself, let's talk about the impact of mentorship. You mentioned your brother, but who's the one who guided you towards other interests such as real estate and your entrepreneurship endeavors? Who was that mentor for you, and how important is it to have a mentor in your position? Because a lot of folks think, oh, if you're successful, you made it, you don't need nobody, but that's probably not true, right?
No, absolutely. A lesson I learned my senior year of high school, I was, top recruit in the nation, led the whole country in sacks the year before. I just needed to be healthy, and I tore my ACL, and I was really worried about what my future was going to look like. And it made me look in the mirror and start thinking. And one thing I realized was I wanted to be successful in life no matter what. And now I connected success to the football field, but for the first time, I felt like that was in jeopardy. So I made a decision then that I was going to be successful with or without football. And that's something, when I talk to kids, I tell them to decide all the time is don't tether the life that you want to just one thing, especially when it's sports. You may love the game, but the game might not always love you back. And that's the reality of it. So I get into college, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to finish school as fast as possible. So I got my undergrad degree in 3 years, and people never believed me, but I took 16 units every year, every semester, and 8 units every summer. And, you know, I was able to do that. I graduated in 3 years. I found good mentors, some alumni who were athletes, and I started to pick their brain on what they were doing. You know, when football ended, or football, and another mentor I have actually played basketball back in the day at USC, where I went to college. And they were great mentors to me. One became a police officer, and his wife was a teacher, and he built a ridiculous real estate portfolio in California. And I was like, wow, off of, you know, a police officer and teacher salary, if he could do it, why can't I? And I always said, if I made it to the NFL, I don't know how long I was going to play, but I'll stash away as much as I can, and I'll kind of go that route. And you know, that's the vision I had, and I just started to find ways to execute. I absorbed as much as I could and surrounded myself around good people. And what I also like to always tell people is, you know, it's the people around you. You know, I try to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, who add value to my life, who push me. When you see somebody and they have things that you want, and they're doing things that you want to do, it's like, all right, well, you want to align your daily habits and make sure they're matching up with what their daily habits look like. And you know, having mentors like that in my life, both on the field and off, it started to guide me and made me realize, you know, the direction I wanted to go.
No, I think that's beautiful. And so everyone knows, we do have a few of our littles that are listening on the line. They're there with their parents at home. So we do have kids on the call. We have parents on the call. We have everyone. So this is awesome information. And so I want the kids to listen to what Devon just said. It's all about who you surround yourself with, who you hang out with at school. They say you're an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So you think of your 5 friends, you're going to be an average of those 5 friends. So be careful who your friends are. And also remember, it's always good to have a backup plan. Like Devon said, he wanted to be a football player, but he always had a backup plan. What happens when you get hurt? What happens if you can't play no more and the money goes away? You got to have a backup plan. And we've had former alumni come and share their stories. Last year, we had our great friend Marte Jenkins come and share his story, a former Cardinal player. And he was telling us how he was an opposite, where he didn't have a mentor. He didn't have a mentor when he got in the league, and he made a lot of mistakes along the way. But now, from those mistakes, as y'all mentioned earlier, he's able to now educate some of the younger players coming through the league and other folks on what decisions to make and what decisions not to make. And so awesome. Derek, how about you? Your journey coming into the league, you know, obviously you played for several teams, you're a Super Bowl champion. How did mentorship impact you? Because you talked about before you got in the league, when you were 9 years old, they planted the seeds in your head. Listen, you got to get good grades, you got to listen to moms, you got to do your chores. So what happened when you're already in the league? You're a full grown man, your chest puffed out, right? You're on the league. So who's your mentorship? Who were your mentors then? And how did you navigate this as a young man in the league?
Well, I had some teammates that were really, really good teammates that were like-minded, and they were advocating finances outside of football, investing your money properly, and make sure you create a portfolio that includes your kids, college funds, and also, you know, set out that trust for your family to financially secure your family in case of your demise. And we all got to go, so we got to set that trust out there make sure that your wife and kids get your home and all the vehicles and all these material things. But at the same time, invest in your family. So your kids college funds and things of that nature. So those guys that I had around me were like-minded people, and that's the one thing what Devon was talking about when he said surround yourself with good people. I like to say like-minded people I surrounded myself with, and that really motivated me and elevated me to do some of the things I've done to not, you know, to help my family.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So let's go ahead and this is a fun question I always like to ask our guests. The question is, and I'm gonna start with you, Derek, is again, as you mentioned, and as Devon mentioned, hey, in life, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay to mess up as long as you learn from them. So what advice would you give your 15-year-old self, Derek, 15-year-old Derek Kennard, what advice would you give your 15-year-old self? What would you tell Derek at that time of moment? If you had a time machine and you could go back, what advice would you give your young self?
Wow, I would give my young self the advice of, hey, continue doing all the good stuff you're doing, but study a little harder and apply yourself a little more, so you will strengthen some of your weaknesses, and which my weaknesses, as my son knows, was my math courses. So I needed to get strengthened in those areas. So my 15-year-old self, I would swallow my pride and go get the tutor, go get whatever else I needed. That's the advice I would give a young 15-year-old, and that became my little roadblock for me to graduate from college on time, was that one math class. That became a long time a roadblock for me, and then 20 some odd years later, I finally finished college after I was done playing, and went on to get my master's degree as well. But that one math class. So my 15-year-old self, if I would have done those things, I would have probably graduated on time, not as soon as Devon did. He was a brainiac. Devon gets it. He gets the math stuff like no other.
That's beautiful though. But see, there's lessons in your story. First of all, all the kids listening online, as he mentioned, don't be afraid to ask for help. We're here to help you. Your teacher, there's tutors available. You got to sometimes ask, because you never know how it's going to come back. But if you listen to what Derek said, he maybe didn't finish on time, but he finished. And that's the most important thing, is that you finish. Whatever you start, finish it. It don't matter how long it takes you, right? You just finish it. You never give up. That's the key here that Derek just mentioned. He didn't give up, and he got it done. And then he even upped it up a notch and got his master's degree, which is beautiful. That's beautiful, Derek. And so,
yes, sir.
Devon, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? Devon killing in at Desert Vista, one of the top recruits, what advice would you give yourself at that age?
Don't get too high on the highs. Don't get too low on the lows. I feel like that's easy in life. Things are going well and you riding the wave, and it's like, oh, you're the big man on campus. You can do no wrong. And then if something happens bad, you could be real hard on yourself, and you could, really, really kind of tank and, deal with depression. There's more depression in this country than ever before. And, it's unnecessary a lot of the time. So kind of try to stay neutral. Don't get too high on the highs. Don't get too low on the lows. I feel like I struggled with that early in my life with the ups and downs, and that's something it's not conducive to good life, good living, and it's something even now I still struggle with it, but I try to be cognizant of a lot more now. It's just like, man, let me stay the same. If I have a game or a season where I'm balling out, or I have a game or a season where it's not too good, let me stay the same. Have the same approach every day. Bring the same energy every day. Still smile and say hello to everybody every day, regardless. And not get too conceited and never feel like you're too down. So I think that's what I would tell myself.
Oh, awesome. Hey, and thank you so much, Devon, for being just open and so transparent. Because a lot of kids struggle with that, I think. A lot of kids go through depression. Even adults, as you mentioned, as adults, we still struggle with that. And mental health now is something that's starting to be talked about a lot more in our community, right? And so let's open that up for a little bit. For the kids who are struggling, and even for some of the adults who are dealing with hard times, what advice do you have for them to keep pushing when things get tough, when they're having a hard day at school? Maybe they can't log on to the virtual class because the internet's acting up, or they're having a tough day at work, or what have you. What advice would you give folks to keep going?
There's a quote I like to kind of go back to, and they say it's one way to eat an elephant, and it's one bite at a time. So sometimes you got this mountain in front of you, and it's so hard to get over this mountain, and you keep looking at the top, and you're like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to be able to eat this elephant. How am I going to eat it? You eat that thing one bite at a time. Trust the process. Do it one day at a time. Make sure your habits and your daily living is in line with the direction you want to go, and you're going to start chipping away at that thing. You're struggling in math class. Get extra help, spend an extra 30 minutes, spend an extra hour a day, ask for a tutor, and you might not get it right away, but keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. A month down the line, 2 months down the line, a year down the line, what was a detriment to you might become one of your strong suits. I've seen it happen in my life in multiple ways and multiple times. So I really try to kind of keep my head down and take it one step at a time when I got to eat an elephant.
So what I'm hearing, that's awesome. So what I'm hearing is, listen, practice makes perfect. You got to work at it, right? Not everything just comes to you, right? And you might not get everything on the first try, but the key is to keep moving and to keep your head down and work, right? Put in the work is what I heard from Devon. Put in the work. Derek, how about you? What advice could you give folks who who are just slugging and having a tough time? Obviously this pandemic is no joke. A lot of our littles are under a lot of pressure. A lot of our parents and families are under a lot of pressure. So what do you say? What advice would you share with them to keep moving and keep going?
Man, it's similar to what Devon said, man. It's keep loving the people around you, keep loving loving on your family, and only close friends, and tell somebody hello and you love them, and once a day, and try to be the light in front of somebody, and by saying hello, or be the sunshine in somebody's life, opposed to being a detriment in somebody's life. And keep your head down when you're trying to tackle that mountain that looks like it's too big. Keep your head down and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just keep grinding and walking up that mountain, and then look up every now and then, and you. Right when you think you got a long way to go, you're so close to the top. You are so close. Just keep your head down and keep right on going. You're going to get to the mountaintop. You're getting there.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And both of y'all. And there's just so many jewels that are being shared with us tonight. That's why we're recording this, so we can go ahead and share it for the folks who didn't make it here this evening. But I want to go ahead and address something that's a current issue, particularly in our community, with the civil unrest, social injustices that have been going on. So I guess we all know all of our kids are watching this, right? Whether it's on social media, online, etc. What message do you have to our youth to get them to push through these tough times, to push through the civil unrest, the social injustices? What do you recommend for them to do during this time? Because a lot of youth are asking, what can we do? What should we do? So with everything that's been going on that we've been seeing in the news over the past year, and some of the stuff that's happened this year, what advice could you give our youth to keep pushing through? Not only just our youth, but then also to our mentors, because we have mentors that work with our kids, and sometimes they don't know how to have these conversations. So what advice would you give folks surrounding these challenges that we're experiencing as a community? And I'll open it up to either one of y'all.
Well, listen, I think that my advice to the kids is to make your adjustments and do the best you can to make your adjustments with the tools that you have. If you're working with your phone, a cell phone, and you don't have Wi-Fi, go to McDonald's, go to your local library that has Wi-Fi. If you don't have Wi-Fi at home, go somewhere where you can get your work done, get it done as a quick manner, because the library has an hour limitation for you to be on the internet and taking your course, doing your coursework. And from there, you only get an hour at the library, and maybe you can go to McDonald's or to another spot that has a hot spot for you. Make your adjustments in life to get your work done in a timely fashion. and make your adjustments. If you don't have access to a computer and you need access to a computer or phone, ask a friend. Just about everybody I know has a phone or a computer. And so the one thing I be a kid from the 70s and 80s. There used to be you have a quarter, a dime or a quarter, you can put it in the phone and call your mom or call somebody. I can't find any of those phones anymore. I don't see anywhere. It just blows my mind. I can't put a quarter in the phone and call my mom or call somebody. It's just not available. It's all in the palm of everybody's hands, and people have laptops as well as tablets. And I say laptops is obsolete now. And I keep saying that word of laptops. I keep forgetting this obsolete. They have Surface Pads and iPads. They don't even have regular computers anymore. They have pads. Anyway, please make your adjustments because right now this pandemic has hit us here in America extremely hard, and they're trying to force our kids back into school. I don't think we should throw our kids to the fire like that, and neither should we do the teachers that way. That's just my personal thought. But at the same time, I know there's kids that need that in classroom attention, and I would probably be one of those kids if I was 15-year-old me. I would be that kid that need to be in the classroom because I would probably be taking the Scooby nap while the teacher's doing a lecture. But I would probably have to learn to make my adjustments as well.
And I think that's the key takeaway here for everyone listening in is make your adjustments. Make your adjustments. With that being said, let me just paint this landscape, the current landscape that exists right now in our community, right here with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arizona. We currently have a little over 100 boys on our wait list, waiting for a big brother. Over 100 boys. Some have been on the wait list for up to 2 years. I myself am a big brother, and I got matched last May, and my little brother was on the wait list for 3 years. He was on the wait list. His mother kept him on there, but I'm glad that she made that decision because him and I have an awesome, amazing relationship. So knowing that, and knowing that a majority of the boys on our wait list are boys of color, why is it important for those folks who aren't mentors that are on the call? Can you just share, Devon, why mentorship is important and why folks should get involved?
Man, you can make a huge impact on a kid's life by feeding into them. Like everybody needs somebody, you know what I mean? So if you have anything to give, whether it's 30 minutes, a week, an hour, whatever it is, give it, because you don't know the impact that you could have on, a kid's life. And I know, the people that's poured into my life in that way in my lifetime have made it a huge impact on me. So it's worth it. Mentorship is important. And we could all do it. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you are in life. There's a kid out there who could take something from you. And, before you mentioned the whole social justice stuff going on in the world and all of those things. And, one thing, it gets overwhelming at times, being a minority in this country and in this state, whatever. And I say it starts with your home and with the people in your sphere of influence. So what impact can you have and what conversations can be had with the people around you? The friends that you hang out with, mostly your family, the people at your school. And can you start to make an impact there? Because when you start looking and you're on social media all the time, or you're watching the TV and you start seeing how crazy things are and how divided this country can be and et cetera, you start to feel like you can't make a difference. But it all starts, if we all take like, man, I want to make a difference in my family, in my sphere of influence, my friends, everyone I'm in contact with, and positively impact that and bring awareness to the social problems that we're dealing with and things like that. Now, if we all do that, then we lift this country up together, little by little. And I think that's how it goes with mentorship as well, to tie it all back in. It's, trying to become a mentor, don't think you have to move the world by yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just a little time, a little energy, a little effort, and how long that could go when your brother next to you is doing the same thing, your friend across the street is doing the same thing. So I think we all could pitch in and do more. You know, there's more kids out there that need that help, that need that guidance. Just the example, you know, for me, with my father, for instance, all the conversations we've had and stuff like that, he doesn't even know, but I've taken the most out of him from my life by just watching. Nothing that he said, nothing that he's done, just watching him live. You know, let a kid do that. Let a kid see you live, see what you talk about, see how you talk to your wife, your friends, your you know, people in your life, and you don't know how far that could go for a child. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Hey, well, Devon, you hit the nail right on the head. And like, as Devon said, it doesn't take much to get going, to get started. And we have this phrase here at Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We say bigger together. We're bigger when we're together. And sometimes it starts with just one person taking that first step that causes a chain reaction. And that's how we can truly transform our neighborhoods. That's how we can transform our communities. That's how we can transform Arizona and then ultimately all across our nation. Transformation takes place when it takes one person to step up and make that move. Now, I will say this, at Big Brothers, Big Sisters, you know, the commitment to mentoring, it's real simple. It's not a heavy lift. It's 2 to 4 times a month for a minimum of twice a month for an hour. If you can do a minimum of twice a month for an hour to connect with the kid for 12 months, then you can be a mentor. You could be a big in our program. As Devon said, it doesn't take much. It's a little time. But I'll tell you what, that little time that you invest yields some awesome results. Our program has been studied extensively. We've been around we've been in the Valley for over 60 years. Nationally, we've been around for over 100 years. So we know mentoring works. We know mentoring is a solution for all that our kids are dealing with right now, the pandemic, the social injustices that they see all the time, consistently, right? We know mentorship works. So as Devon said, get involved. We got over 100 boys on our wait list. They're looking for somebody like you, a big brother. And so our big sisters too on the line, we love you too. We want you to also get involved. So it's about everyone coming together, because ultimately we're bigger when we're working together, okay? Now I do see, we do have a question here in the chat. And so the question is, 2020 was a rough year, but what is one thing you've learned about yourself that surprised you? And how do I motivate a little going down the wrong path? So it's 2 questions. The first question was, 2020 was a rough year. What's one thing you learned about yourself that surprised you? We'll start there with that one. So what's one thing that you learned about yourself that surprised you in 2020? We'll start with Derek. What's one thing that surprised you about yourself that you learned in 2020?
Oh man, I learned that I can work out without a machine, just using your own body weight and nothing else. And that was amazing for me to learn, because I've always used machines. I've always used weights. I always used apparatus, but push-ups, sit-ups, running in place, jumping jacks, burpees. Oh my God, it is crazy to do mountain climbers. Are you serious? That's the surprise I learned. And in doing so, I had to do all of that going to my oldest son's gym and doing most of that. And I got an hour of workout to do it either there or do it at home. So so it was an hour workout, but it was mainly just all your body weight, and to me it felt like cardio.
So y'all heard it. So yeah. So y'all heard. So you don't. What Derek is saying is you don't really need a gym. Is what he learned last year. You can use your own body weight at home, and you can still get a great workout and stay fit. Because being healthy is extremely important. And so we're going to wait for the second question. I'm going to jump over to Devon. What's one thing that 2020 taught you? What did you learn about yourself that surprised you, Devon?
How much I needed to slow down. I have big goals, big dreams, so many things going on in my life. And this year 2020 made me slow down by force. And I was kicking and screaming at first. I had travel plans and all these things I wanted to do and places I wanted to go and meetings I needed to handle. And I had to slow down and find joy in that and comfort in that, which is hard at times. And once you slow down, it made me realize that sometimes less is more. So, it's like addition by subtraction. Like I felt more fulfilled, I spent more time with my wife and daughter than I would have ever before, and the relationship I've been able to build with my daughter this last year by how much time I've been able to be home and I couldn't go nowhere or shouldn't go nowhere. So I'm just home chilling with her. And I don't know if that would have happened if life was just as normal. So that's something that I really want to kind of take forward with me.
That's beautiful. Slow down, Devon says. So slow down and realize what's right in front of you. And that there's always some silver lining here. Got to spend more time with his daughter. You don't mind me asking, Devon, how old is your daughter?
She's 2.
She's 2. Hey, I got a 2-year-old as well, man.
She off the chain right now. Y'all might hear her in the background screaming.
Yep, I know they're the boss, right? Talent. They're the boss. They run the house, don't they?
What? She running the show completely. Telling me no, Dad. She want to do this, controlling the TV. I'm like, man, if I gotta watch Moana one more time,
right? Moana, yep, all of that. All the nursery songs by heart.
I'm sure you probably know Coco Melon. She been on Coco Melon. Oh my gosh.
Coco Melon, all of it. Bubble Guppy. For all the parents on the line that have younger kids, we know all about that life. And let's jump to this last question here that we have here. This is a good one.
Well, first of all, I know y'all got more questions than that. Y'all got to stop being shy. All these people on the line.
Hello. Listen.
Y'all better go ahead and tap in.
Listen, and like we started off early, we're having a very authentic and intentional conversation. Our guests have not held back anything, so let's not hold back our questions. And so next question is, how do I motivate a little, which is what we call the kids in our program? How do I motivate a little going down the wrong path? How do I motivate a little going down the wrong path?
Whew. I guess I'll start. Dealing with a little going down the wrong path, I would say try to understand why they're going down that path and talk them through it. Like, do you understand where this could lead you? What are you hoping to achieve through this? Because sometimes there's underlying reasons behind why kids are doing what they're doing, why they're acting the way they're acting. And sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. So I would say start by listening. Think about maybe what the right questions might be to ask where you could kind of get to the bottom of why they're starting to move that way. Maybe the group of friends that they want to hang out with don't want to hang out with them. And so they're hanging out with some of the, bad kids or peer pressure is real nowadays dealing with kids. And I had one of my closest friends in middle school. He had great aspirations of playing in the NBA, and he's like all of a sudden 8th grade he started smoking weed and drifting away from me. I have no idea why, but he was having issues at home, family issues at home, and that was his relief, and it just took him down the wrong path. Maybe if he had a big brother talking to him, it could have changed that. So I would say start by listening, and it's not going to happen overnight. So maybe you could slowly deter them and make them realize that there's a better way and get to the root of the problem.
Yeah. And you know what, Devon, that's what we always say for folks who are interested in becoming a mentor is to set yourself up with proper expectations and understand that it takes time to develop a relationship. And a majority of it is listening. It's about being a good listener. So many times we're quick to talk, but sometimes it's good to sit and listen. Sometimes our kids need to be heard so you can understand what's going on in the household or what's going on at school or anywhere else in the community that they're working with. So the lesson there is to listen. For all those who are interested in becoming a mentor, listen. Listening is a key aspect to a good, healthy relationship. Derek, what advice do you have for a mentor on how to, help a little who might be going down the wrong path?
Well, I would start out with asking them, what's the means to your ends? Meaning that the kid that's going down the wrong path, I would ask them to show me one guy or person that is living the life that you aspire to be. Is this guy what you aspire to be? Do you see a future in this, whatever it is that your wrong path is? Find out what's the ends to your means. And that's when a kid that have that old poop moment where it say, oh poop, I gotta, wow, I need to really change my way of thinking, because, well, guess what? This the way you're thinking now, the person that you're trying to be is either in jail or dead. So is this the pathway of life do you want for yourself, going down this wrong path? So it's your choice. Ultimately, it's your choice to make. But like we said earlier with Devon and both myself was talking about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Well, if you don't want to be that person, judged by 12 or carried by 6, you may want to change your pathway of life and think of another career path if you're going down the wrong path, and take inventory of what it is that you would like to do in life. And if it's not pro football, it could be, you could want to be a mechanic or a plumber, or you're just good with electronics, or you could be a computer engineer, working at Honeywell, making 6 figures, $500,000 a year working at Honeywell. Are you kidding me? You could do a lot of things with your different way of thinking, or something that you're probably already good at.
Yep. So it's about mindsets. What I'm hearing is mindset. And
Absolutely.
that's what mentors have the ability to do, is you have the ability to help our kids reach their full potential. Okay. As a mentor, you have the ability to help our kids reach their full potential. So we got some more questions here. This one's from my good brother, Larry Ross. If y'all don't know Larry Ross, he does so much work in our community for our youth. He has a founder of the Omega Youth Leadership Academy, works a lot with our young kids of color, young Black kids. He says this: what are some strategies you can recommend to your friends to encourage them to become a big? So what are some strategies you can recommend to your friends to get them involved in becoming a mentor?
Devon.
Okay. I think a couple of strategies was, one, a lot of the time it's awareness of exactly what, being a big is, and bringing, I know a lot of, even in the NFL, even though like it's you guys are a partner, I could say there's probably a lot of guys in the locker room who couldn't identify and know exactly what bigs are. So, I think that's a good place to start, is, making people realize what the organization is, what being a big is, and what it entails. Sometimes it's like, all right, well, I got to be a mentor, so I got to meet a random kid and I got to meet with them every week. Like, I can't do that. Like, I didn't know, you just mentioned it, but it's, I think you said an hour every 2 weeks, or twice a month, or whatever that is. It's not a ridiculous commitment. It's something that people, a lot of people would be willing to do if they realize that's all it took. So kind of using your own network to kind of make sure they're aware, whether that's, sending them links to the social media, whatever that may look like. But I think that's a great place to start.
So educating our community on what it really entails. Because what we find out too is a lot of folks confuse us for Boys and Girls Club, which we both work with kids, we both do a lot of work, but we definitely serve our youth in a different aspect, and that's through mentorship. And I think, Devon, that's great feedback. You're right. There might be a lot of folks, a lot of brothers in the locker room, in your locker room, who, man, I don't have time for that. But they don't know all the work that's done behind the scenes. Because see, we don't just pair folks up with random youth. What we do is we'll interview you, get your likes and interest. We'll then match those likes and interests with that of a youth, because we want there to be synergy. Because it's about creating sustainable relationships that are going to last at least at a minimum for a full year. Most of our mentor relationships last 72 months on average. So there's definitely a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And I'll say this for those who don't know, when you become a mentor in a program, you get a program specialist. A program specialist is your one-to-one resource for anything that you need to help you be the best mentor you can be. So you're never really alone. You got someone checking in on you once a month, making sure everything's going okay. You do have a youth, but you know about them. You know information about them before you even meet them, because why? We want to make sure that this relationship's going to be a long-lasting, powerful one. But you're right on the money, Devon. It starts with educating our community, and that's why we're having these events. We can't meet in person, but we're going to do it virtually to educate folks, to hopefully get more folks involved. Derek, did you have anything to add on to that before I jump into the next question?
Yes, pretty much similar to Devon's. It's commitment level. Most of my guys want to know about commitment level. What level of commitment? Is it once a week, twice a week? Is it once a month, twice a month? What the commitment level is really big to know that, and to give the knowledge to being a big. Just like what I'm doing with the social justice grant I wrote for the Barrett School of Scholars. I got 10 guys to volunteer for this, and they just have to meet once a week with their kids, and they're going to be assigned 10 kids from 10 different schools, and we're going to have our guys mentor those kids all the way through the program until they get to ASU Barrett School of Scholars. And my guys are committed and willing to take on this commitment, because I laid it out front for them. It's a once a week deal where you meet with your kids, and you're talking about elevating and motivating your kids of getting in different strategies on how to study, and what it's going to take for you to get by some of these courses, not just to get by, but to highly achieve, because the Barrett School of Scholars is a really hard school to get into at ASU. That's the upper echelon private society that most kids don't know about, of getting into this Barrett School. That's why we're doing the social justice grant to get more African American and the brown kids involved with the Barrett School of Scholars, and that's all I got to say about that.
So it's about commitment, as you said, being upfront about the commitment and how much time it's going to take. Right on. So I got two more questions here. This is a good one. This comes from one of our big sisters. She says, "My little is somewhat of a sore loser sometimes. What can I do or say to her to let her know it's okay to lose?" So what advice could you give to a mentor who's having a tough time, whose little is a sore loser and is not okay with losing? What advice would you give her to tell her little that it's okay to lose? Devon?
I got that one.
Go ahead, Derek. We'll start with you, then we'll jump with Devon. Go ahead, Derek.
Okay. With that one, learn from your losses. There's lessons inside that loss that she's taking, but she needs to learn a lesson behind it. What are the lessons that she needs to learn? What happened? Go over the tape, review it, show her some of her mistakes, not her teammates, not what the coach did. What happened to you? What did you do that could have helped your team win the game or win in that classroom? What is the mistakes that you made? And go over it, review it, and strengthen yourself in those weaknesses, and learn from that mistake.
Learn from that mistake. Go over how you could have contributed to that win or loss. Awesome.
Don't point the finger. Don't point the finger at the coach or your teammates. It starts here at home.
That's right. That's right. Devon, what advice could you offer? Listen, especially as you mentioned earlier in the call, you hate sitting on the sideline watching someone else playing the Super Bowl. Obviously, you know what I mean? But obviously, how do you take that? How do you take taking a loss or losing in the game? And what advice could you give this mentor to help her with her little sister that has a tough time losing?
I would say if you haven't taken some L's, some major L's, you're not trying to accomplish nothing in your life. They're synonymous with each other. So you got to embrace those L's, and it's what you do with them afterwards. But man, if I wasn't taking the L's, I'm living life on the sidelines, and you got to get in the game. And if you get in the game, you're gonna get got at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I play football, and I'm gonna take my shot. I'm gonna try to make a play. I'm gonna try to do some things. And man, every once in a while, the tackle gets me, or like I don't make the play. They're out here trying to make a living too. So it happens, and that's in all aspects of life. So it doesn't matter. So changing the orientation of what that L means. I don't care. Show me somebody who hasn't taken an L, and I'll show you a liar. So everybody's taking L's. Nowadays through social media, everybody wanna hype it up like they got their stuff together and they're not taking no L's. But that's a lie, man. In our personal lives, in our real in sports, it doesn't matter. If you are out there really living, then you're going to take some L's, and it's what you do about it, what you learn from it, and how you move forward. So I would say kind of change the whole narrative about what it means to take an L. And that's a great way to deal with somebody who's a sore loser, because there's no reason to be bitter after a loss. Like I'm bitter about not being in the playoffs. But you know what? I'm gonna be motivated going into next season. When I talk to my teammates, conversation is there's no reason why we shouldn't have made the playoffs this year. We got to go into this this next season humming. Like let's go. We got something to prove. And that's how you take an L and turn it into a positive.
Hey, Devin.
Yeah, go ahead, Devin. Derek. Go ahead, Derek.
I want you to know there's no way possible I'm liking it. When I do take an L, that don't mean I gotta like it. And I don't like that taste in my mouth, and I can't wait.
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone likes taking the L, but the key is no one likes. So let's just be honest there. No one likes taking the L, but as Devon said, and as you already mentioned, you take that L and turn it into a lesson, and you come back hungrier and humbler. And so, and this brings me to another great question: is being on a team is playing a sport is such a team sport. How do you all motivate each other on a team? How do you motivate and mentor each other? What does that look like?
For me, especially once you get into the NFL, I'm gonna be honest. Like if you ain't motivated, everybody got their own reasons. Whether it's your family, whether it's money, whether it's championships, but you got to come into that locker room and every day and have that within you. But with that said, I think it starts with accountability. We need each other. Football is a sport, and I think life is a sport where you can't do it by yourself. If you're trying to go alone, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And life is a sport. You got to go far. You know what I mean? And it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're trying to do it by yourself, you can't. So for us in the locker room, it's holding each other accountable. I want the guy next to me to know I'm going to be in my gap when the play comes my way. I'm going to make it, or I'm going to force it to him so he can make it. And when you have that mutual respect amongst each other, and everybody in the locker room knows, like, all right, we can count on DK. He gonna be where he's supposed to be. He's gonna play the game how he's supposed to play it. And I think that applies to all aspects of life. I want my family, my friends to know exactly what they can expect from me, because my resume speaks for itself.
That's right.
Hey, Devin.
Yeah, Derek, go ahead.
I want to add that I like to motivate and elevate. I've been always been a team leader, both in the locker room and in life. I always try to motivate and elevate people around me. I see a guy that's nursing an injury and or maybe a weak link on any one of my teams. I will go into that training room while he's getting injury nursed, and I'll go in there and motivate and elevate him by letting him know, we need you, bruh. We need you, and I need you. But we can't get this done without you. So I'll go in every day, instilling that into that guy, knowing that this is a team sport, and we actually really do need you. And we can't get it done without you. And it's just the understanding of a team sport. You gotta know that you can't get it done by yourself, and everybody's got to do their job. And when you do that and everybody's reaching to the same goal, which is one of those.
you just, hey, listen, Devon, I don't know how you do it. That's your pops.
How many more times he gonna flash that ring?
Now, Devon, that's your pops. So I imagine your whole life he's been like this, just showing you that.
He was on my shoulders when we won the thing, man. He was on my shoulders down at Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, Derek, Derek, I think you brought up a good point, and I'm going to tie this in here and wrap it up, is that, much like football is a team sport, life is a team sport, right? Life is a team sport. And what do I mean by that? I mean, sometimes you got to be consistent. Sometimes people are going to depend on you. Sometimes other folks are dependent on you to do your job and show up, as Devon said, and be that consistent force in their life. And that's what mentorship is all about, being dependable, being consistent. And so let's not get away from that. And so I want to wrap up and move into final thoughts, but I can't skip this question. It's such a beautiful one from our good friend Vashi, who says, my little loves to read. Is there a book you would recommend that, for her little to read? Any book recommendations for our youth?
I don't know how old she is, but I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm huge on financial literacy in the Black community. It's something I'm super passionate about. I hate that in schools we're learning about so many random things, but kids don't know how to write a check, what a credit card is, what student loans are, etc. So a book I recommend, which was the book that kind of opened my mind, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So if the kid's old enough, I definitely recommend that, because kids in inner cities, they need to be exposed and be taught about financial literacy and be educated on that. And I'm super passionate about it. So I definitely recommend that.
Okay, cool. She's 14, and I don't think you're ever too young to have a conversation about financial literacy with our youth. Male, female, or what have you.
I thought it was a 2-year-old little kid wanna know about achieving things in life. I was thinking about the little train that go choo choo.
For our younger kids, hey, that's right. For our younger kids, because we serve youth 6 to 18. So yes, for our younger kids that exist, and that's such a great recommendation. And financial literacy is something that we're definitely going to talk about for one of our future virtual dialogues, and how important that is to our community. Yeah, absolutely. I will. We'll tap you in for that. And so, gentlemen, closing thoughts. We're going to close out. Any final thoughts you have on mentorship and just uplifting our kids in the community? Any final thoughts you have that you want to close out with? Derek?
Well, I think that just get involved. We need people that look like you, look like me. We need more people to get involved. We need more men to get involved. These kids just want to be shown an example of how to be a man. Most of our kids are single parent moms that the kid don't see anybody like them, and what it is to be a man, and what it is that person does, and what does that look like, and what is that man role in a family dynamic look like, and maybe you can teach that child that, and it's something so deeply needed. And when JD Hill came into my life to show me some of these things, those are the things that I was thirsty of and needed. I needed to see those dynamics and those things on what was the roadmap supposed to look like. And these guys, they showed me the roadmap on what it would look like, and that's what I aspired to be.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek. Beautiful words of wisdom to close us out. Devon?
Yeah, I would say the secret in all this is when you're a mentor and you give back, what I found is you usually get more out of it, like just as much, if not more, than the kids. My time in the community, when I invest time in these kids, it makes me reflect. And I'm like, man, like I know I helped that little boy or that little girl, or that, I'm glad I was able to do that. But man, I feel enriched. I feel rejuvenated. I feel motivated, So sometimes people feel like they don't have the time, the energy, whatever it might be. And, sometimes when you feel like you're lacking yourself, the first thing you should do is to give and see the impact that has. So I just want to encourage everyone to get involved in the community, especially here in Arizona. I'm guessing everybody on this call is in Arizona, and we need help and community and people getting involved in Arizona. So that's a passion of mine, and I just hope and encourage everybody to get involved and to be a part of this. And you're going to be enriched when you do it.
That's right. And that's oftentimes what we tell our folks, is that you actually get sometimes more out of it than our kids get. You get a renewed sense of purpose yourself, and which actually is a good segue, because we don't want this partnership with especially the Kennard family to end, or the NFL. We actually want to continue this. And actually next week, we're going to be kicking off our NFL Big Draft. So the Big Draft is our opportunity to draft the next great bigs in our community. So you all are going to have an opportunity to draft who you think should become a mentor in a big. We're going to have a draft day, virtual draft day party, where we're going to call names up. We're going to have t-shirts for folks who sign up, and several other recognitions and prizes. So look for that information to come out next week. It's our NFL Big Brothers Big Sisters Big Draft, where you'll have the opportunity to recommend someone in the community who would be a great big. And we want to draft them, and we're looking for them, but we need your help. As Devon said, as Derek said, get involved. If you know someone who would be great, I'm going to send everyone the link once this is done. So you have the information for the big draft so they can get involved. So I want to see some more folks I want to see some more folks from our hometown team. I know they want to get involved. I want to see more folks on this call. We want to see more folks in our community just be a part of the movement. And so, Derek, I see you got your hand up. Do you got something you want to say?
Yes, I got to say a big shout out to the women in our lives. But without my wife, my mom, Devon's wife, Derek Jr.'s wife, and none of my grandma, all the women that's in our lives, all this stuff is not possible if we didn't have these strong women in our lives to make all these things possible. And I just want to acknowledge that. It's also my wife's birthday tomorrow. Aww. And I just had to throw a zinger out there. Zing!
Yo, you smart. You smart. You're right. And so shout out to all the ladies and all the women in our lives. Obviously, all of our big sisters and future big sisters on the call. We so gladly appreciate it, and obviously couldn't do it without you. And happy birthday. Happy early birthday to your wife there. And to your mom, Devon, to your mother. So happy birthday there. And so, Laura, did you have anything that you want to close out with?
I just have to say, I kept my video off and I was trying to be good because I just wanted to jump in so many times. But Derek, it's so good to see you. You know, I'm going to be reaching out to you. Would love to get you re-engaged. And Devon, oh my gosh, Derek, you raised a great son. Wow, you're just the things you said were so amazing. I related to so many of them. You know, I'm a big sister, and my little sister, we've been matched since she was 8, and she's graduating this year.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. I took her to her first Cardinals game. She'd never been to a Cardinals game. And I think she was like awesome. A Oakland Raiders. And I'm like, no. So yeah, we went to the Cardinals game. So just thank you guys so much. And Devon, I'll be reaching out to you too.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, so here's what we're going to do. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. You're now free to log off. And again, our information is in the chat. Our website, BBBSAZ.org, is in the chat for those who are interested in volunteering. But thank you again so much for joining us for this important conversation. Devon and Derek, if you don't mind hanging around for a few minutes.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Everyone else, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. Catherine, I see you're still online.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We'll give everyone a second to log off here. So, Devon, Derek, Catherine is a reporter with Arizona Republic. She wanted to ask a few questions about the event.
How are you?
So, you guys already know each other?
Mostly from Zoom. Yeah. We haven't totally gotten to meet in person yet, which has been such a weird part of this season.
No one meets in person anymore. It's awful.
Right? I am so looking forward to finally getting back to talking to players in person, but this was so wonderful to be a part of. So yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, sorry, I interrupted. I'm a reporter at the Arizona Republic and I cover the Cardinals. So
fantastic. Well, again, Devon, Derek, thank you for sticking around for a few minutes. Catherine, please.
I'm gonna log off. Thanks, you guys. I'll be in touch.
Okay,
All right, see
Laura,
you
you
later.
have a good one.
You too.
Sweet. So just to start, just kind of initial reaction, how did you think this went for you guys? What was it like being a part of something so powerful, getting to connect with other people in this community?
I think it's really wonderful to have this platform to reach out to everyone, and I think it's also it's just very beneficial that we're on doing this virtually, because people are staying home, and it's about making adjustments. Everybody's adjusting to this new lifestyle of 2020, that this virtual meeting on Zoom and Google Meet and all these other avenues. It's this is a new way of life now, and I don't see this changing for a while because of the pandemic. So we got to kind of sort of embrace it right now in order to stay healthy and to keep our family and the people around us that we love healthy as well.
Yeah, for me, I'll say it's just a sigh of relief for me. It's been a frustrating year off the field wise, as far as I wanted to get involved in the community a lot more than I've been able to. So, I've done some things, and found some organizations to work with. But when I had this opportunity, it was a no brainer for me, just because I'm believe mentorship and impacting kids' lives is really important. It's a passion of mine. And it was a pleasure to do, and something I'm excited about and looking forward to doing again.
Devon, I know you've been trying to navigate that, getting involved with places, but everything being so hard right now. But I know there was the ICANN scholarships recently. There was this tonight. Can you just give me a quick rundown of everything you're involved with right now?
Things I've done. I know last offseason, as soon as I signed here, I connected with the firefighters in the Phoenix area right when COVID hit, and I partnered with Salad and Go, which I don't. If you haven't tried their salads, definitely pull up. They're fire. But I got a bunch of salads, and I went to 4 different stations in close to and near the Ahwatukee area I grew up in, and went by and hung out with the firefighters for a day, brought them lunch, and just hung out, thanked them for their service and stuff. So that was the first thing I did. And then the work with ICANN, that after school program, it was 10 kids that they identified that were doing exceptional in the classroom, in the community, and all of that. They gave me summaries on the kids. I FaceTimed with each kid, got to talk to them, meet them, and gave them $500 scholarship, or not scholarships, but $500 Christmas gift cards to Target. So I did that, and that's really, really it, unfortunately. I've done a couple of other little small events, I guess a little similar to this, but not to this magnitude. So yeah, that's really it. And I'm hoping this year is going to be more opportunities in person.
I think it's still more than you're giving yourself credit for, but I definitely understand just the itching to get more involved.
Yeah.
But when you mention, FaceTiming each of those kids and programs like this, where it's that one-on-one mentorship, what is it about community initiatives like this, where there's so many different ways for guys to give back, but sometimes it can be just kind of a one-time donation, but these are a bit more like putting down roots, if that makes sense. So what draws you to those kind of initiatives?
Well, that's kind of been my thing my whole career. I've always worked with after school programs and mentorship programs. It's what I'm passionate about. And I feel like it's easy to have some money and throw some money at some kids, but when you make a real connection with them and spend some time with them, and they get to know you and see, it kind of disarms them, because you see me on TV and you see NFL games and we don't feel real to them. But I've realized when I actually get to talk to kids and hang out with kids, they're like, wow, he's like me. Like messing around and joking and laughing and doing some of the dance, Corvette. No, but doing all that kind of stuff. And it just, makes that connection, so much more enriching. So I think it's important to not only give money when necessary, but time.
Have you guys, Derek and Devon, ever done an event together before, or was this the first one?
I think this is the first one, but let's set some stuff up, man. we gotta get it rolling. I mean, I've been gone for a long time, so you gotta think. I graduated high school and I was in college for 4.5 years, and then this last year was my first year like back home, and it was a COVID year. So I think we got to start getting some stuff in the works. Might be a good little 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I believe this
was
our first event.
I find it so interesting how, like, obviously we want so much to be in person, but Derek, you kind of mentioned this, how Zoom opens up some of these things of, even being in the same area now, getting to hop on so easily together. So what was that like, being able to, you guys talked about your relationship a lot during this, but being able to now do an event like this together?
For me, it's crazy because he's down the street. He's at his house and I'm at my house. I'm like, but I get it. I get it. I get it. This is just our new norm now, and I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it now. I'm trying to make my adjustments with Zoom and Google Meet, and there's another one with Microsoft. I forget the name of that one, but it's just so many. FaceTime. There's so many of them that we could utilize now to meet people without being physically in the presence. So it's just weird doing this, and I know he's just down the street. And
yeah. For me, I'll say it's kind of full circle being able to have this like time with my dad and be able to do stuff like this is pretty cool.
Devon, you mentioned how you got so much time. Also, maybe I just heard her, but with your daughter recently.
Probably.
What has that taught you? Has that like added anything about mentorship that maybe you might apply to other things now, of just, having that time with her and seeing that relationship up close?
I think it kind of reiterates a little what I just talked about with time and like investing time in kids. Like I'm forever grateful for this last year, for that specifically, just because that's time I don't think I would have had with her. I'm a busy guy, I have a lot of things going on and off the field, and life has usually hit me 100 miles per hour, and I had to slow down. And my daughter loves it. I'm home all the time. I'm sure my wife is fighting to keep her from staying upstairs right now, and not jumping in, and she's still up there screaming. So it's like that connection with mentorship. Like I think that's a father's ultimate role, is I want to lead by example. I want my wife and my kids to be able to feel safe and comfortable at home. And I'm like, I might not have all the answers or do everything right, but I'm gonna always lead them in the right direction and do the best that I can. And if I could lead them well, then I could lead somebody else well.
And y'all are expecting another girl, is that right?
Yeah, 2 girls, man. No, at first I wanted another boy, but now it's like I'm a girl dad. I'm on my Kobe vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Girl dad for life. Because I don't know if we going around 3. Having kids ain't no joke. So
you going in again? You're going in again.
I don't know. I loved playing backyard football growing up with all my cousins, so I think you can still play with them a bunch there too. But also, girl dad. I love how much people are embracing that too. So a fun process. You had mentioned during this too, how kind of all y'all had mentioned how not only is it important to have mentorship, but to have mentors who look like you, and, especially with Black History Month, to put an emphasis on that. And I was kind of curious, big picture, you were so involved in New York and Detroit, and obviously Arizona is close to you for being your hometown, but demographic wise, is it even more important with, there being less Black men in Phoenix for you to be that role model and be involved? I don't know if that totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's pivotal here. You know, I don't know if there's enough of that here, and I feel like there's so many kids in need of that. I think a male figure, you know, not taking. I think moms and women are the best. So don't get me wrong, but I feel like a lot of things wrong in this country stem from men not playing the role in society consistently enough the way that they should in their families' lives and the roles that they make. So I don't take it for granted that I grew up in a household with my mother and father in the home. And I think that has a huge impact on who I am. And it gave me an instant person. I mentioned in this interview, you know, my dad doesn't even know, but just like he could say whatever. I was watching him. You know what I mean? Like I've watched him my whole life, and good, bad, and indifferent, and a lot of kids are missing that. So to be able to have a man that they could watch and they can listen to and reflect with, I think is so important, and especially in this community in Arizona. And I don't haven't been able to dive in a ton, but from what I have, I keep hearing that, and I see it in the community. There's not as many Black men in the Arizona community that are doing it. And I think, you know, we might be a good place to start.
And Derek, for you, I know to have Devon back home is so exciting for so many reasons, but when did it kind of hit you of him getting involved in this community too, from, you know, that standpoint of being here?
Well, I knew it would be he would embrace it because he's from this community, and not only will he embrace it, they will embrace him. And I was just waiting to see which route he would go, because there's so many needs and avenues to go here in the community. And but I didn't want him to choose some of my pathways. And I always, I know I was with the Boys and Girls Club for a long time, and the Devon and my oldest son was involved with the Boys and Girls Club. But we also worked with Big Brother, and so it was his choice. I try not to make my kids' decisions. I wanted him to do his own decisions, but he did it. He makes his own decisions as he goes along, because he's more analytical, and he's just wired that way. He overanalyzes, and you better be right, because he's analyzing it. So that's just Devon's makeup.
Definitely makes sense. And I feel what you were saying on the math classes taking a bit more, because I think I was more that route. So definitely empathize. Is there anything we didn't talk about during these questions or during the session that you guys want to say or want people to know about, you know, whether it's tonight's event or just general involvement in the community?
Well, I just like to see more men get involved with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and I know there's a waiting list for the women, but men, get involved with Big Brother, Big Sister, and be a big in somebody's life, and be someone positive, the light in somebody's life, and that I think is really significant and will make a big impact.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
You're on mute, Devon.
I cut out, so I didn't hear the question. It cut out for me.
Oh, you're good. It was just a final. If there's anything we didn't talk about that you'd like to say, I just always like to give people a chance at the end of an interview in case there's anything I missed.
No, not that I can think of.
Fair enough. And then Devon, I actually wanted to check a couple things with you quickly, but if the rest of y'all need to hop off, I understand. And thank you so much for your time. It was so great to be able to see this and get to catch up with y'all afterwards too.
Make sure you send the interview.
Yes, I'm not sure if it won't be tomorrow, probably a little later this week or next week, but I'll get it to y'all for sure. So I appreciate it.
And Devon, Derek, I have your email. Devon, what's your hold on, let me get on my notepad so I can get your email and just your contact info so I make sure that we get you the video so you can share it out if you like.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Send them your IntelliCard.
Wait, hold on. What's a telecard? Just kidding. Just kidding.
IntelliCard. It's just a card that you can is electronically sent.
Yeah,
It's like
I'm
a
messing
business
around.
card, but yeah. My email is Devon, DEVON, and then K42@gmail.
K42@gmail. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'll connect with you. I'll shoot you an email once we have the link up, and you can share it out if you like. And like I said, we want both of y'all to be involved with this, and you guys are just such great ambassadors. I mean, you really are. Seriously, we need more brothers like y'all just out here just speaking the truth and doing the work. It's one thing to talk it, but it's another thing to do it, and you guys are doing it. And so, small world, real quick. Small world. My fiance actually went to school with your older brother.
Really?
Larry Jr. Yeah. She went to Desert Vista. And they're still friends.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're still friends and
Aw.
connected. They went to high school together, Desert Vista. She was telling me, she goes, I know him.
Man, Arizona is a small world, man.
You know how Arizona is, man. Small world. And then I found out that you and I, Devon, have a mutual contact with Askia, who does
Man,
video.
he was just at my house last week.
I know. I saw him. He posted on Instagram. I saw him. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Devon's supposed to be doing an interview with us next week. So small world. He's a good brother too. And,
Yeah, he did some great work. He helped me make some videos. I'm gonna be posting soon.
That's funny, Devin. Yeah, name dropper.
Hey, listen, small world, man. Small world.
Yeah.
That's how Arizona is. I was like, wait a minute. You know, that's
Crazy.
Yeah, that's how Phoenix is. But like I say, we appreciate y'all for your time, and you certainly gave us more than what we anticipated. So we'll be following up, but we appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
All right, take care.
Thank y'all.
All right, see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to check a couple things quickly, information wise. So the people on the call, since it wasn't on video, were those mostly mentors? I know some people said that they had their littles on the call, but it was mostly people already in the program?
Yeah, it was. I would say it was a mix. We have folks who are not mentors, and we had a few of our mentors that brought their littles or that hopped on the line to get some knowledge. So it was a good mix of probably both, but more so probably folks who aren't yet mentors.
Okay. And how did this event come about? Like, did y'all reach out to the Kennards, or was it through the NFL? I think Inspire Change is part of it.
Yeah. So Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we were awarded a grant from the NFL, which was a part of their Inspire Change initiative. It's their social justice initiative, and we are a part of one of their pillars, their education and youth pillar, that's focused on helping our kids reach their full potential. And so we reached out to the Cardinals, and we asked if they would be interested in partnering on this event for Black History Month. And we said, do you have anybody in mind? And without a doubt, they said the Kennards. Devon Kennard loves this stuff. He wants to get involved. I said, all right, bring it on. And they said, oh, by the way, we have his father. I said, great. So we have father, son, and an alumni and a current player. So it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and I think too, just having it so interconnected in so many ways, like both played for the Cardinals, father, son, hometown. That's a
Amazing
combo.
Yeah. No, I thought it was awesome. And they kept it, they were so vulnerable, and they were so honest and so revealing of their personal lives and their struggles and successes. So it was awesome.
And was this the first time that Devon's been involved with Big Brothers Arizona?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Gotcha.
It's first time.
And I know he mentioned he's trying to build all those connections. So that's, totally understand that it's hard right now.
It's hard. But I commend him. He said, look, I know I'm not doing, I said, man, you're doing more than most. Right. There's a lot of players, and this isn't to knock on player, but there's a lot of players, young players who come in the league who they maybe don't understand the concept yet of community and how important that could be to not only for yourself, but for your career, for the league. I mean, it does so many positives. So I'm glad Devon recognizes that. And our hope is that through him, he inspires other teammates to get involved, especially some of the younger players that we have on the team.
Yeah. Are there other Cardinals who have been particularly involved with y'all lately? Yeah.
So typically Larry Fitzgerald, he will host the annual holiday party for us every year. He'll host a holiday party for kids during the Christmas time. But obviously this year, or 2020, we didn't do that. So we weren't able to fortunately have that. And but typically he's the one who'll come around and host this little holiday party for our bigs and littles to come, and he'll sign an autograph for them and give them, you know, some inspiring words of encouragement. But like I said, we hope to get more folks involved. And Devon is our latest and greatest, and so we hope to get other, you know, players, you know, plugged into the community. So.
And then just out of curiosity, I know you mentioned, and they talked about too, just again, that idea of seeing yourself reflected in mentorship. And do y'all know, maybe not exact, but like rough estimates on demographics of the kids who are involved in your program?
Majority of the kids we serve are Black and brown, or African American or Latino.
Okay.
So, yep, majority of kids we serve are kids of color, but I can't say the same for our volunteer base.
Okay.
Right. And so that's why we talk about representation, and having someone that looks like you is so important. Now, certainly anyone could be a mentor, and that's awesome. But if we can get mentors that actually look like the community as well, then that just, you know, even is a plus one, if you will. So
no, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's so important too. So
yeah,
glad to see that framing is something you guys are keeping in mind as well.
absolutely.
I think those are all my questions. If I think of anything else, I've got your contact info, but also
Awesome.
I'll follow up once the story goes up. Again, not sure. We're doing like a bunch of random Super Bowl lead up stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be sometime during Black History Month for sure,
Yeah.
but could be next week potentially. But I'll keep you posted.
Well, hey, I appreciate you, you know, joining us this evening and sticking around, and hopefully you enjoyed the conversation, and, you know,
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And again, I cover the Cardinals specifically, but I love stories like this where it crosses over into the community. So if y'all are ever doing things that, even if it's with other Arizona teams, feel free to reach out. Just because I like highlighting this stuff. I think it's important.
Awesome. No, we appreciate it. And these are stories the community needs to hear, you know?
Yeah. And
it's inspiring. And, you know, you see these players who folks probably think, they don't have time. No, there's some people who do have time and they want to get involved. So
yeah, I'll be excited when it goes back to in person too. But I have liked all these, you know, adaptations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like you said, I don't know if we would have been able to pull it off. It's, you know, 50, 60 people that registered, you know, in one room, and people having to travel, get through traffic and rush hour to get here. And so, yeah, this is good. This worked out fine for us. But yeah, we'll definitely keep you in the loop. You have my contact information. So please, anything else you need from us, just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good rest of your night.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
see ya.